The other day we filmed a video where we went kind of like a walk through time for all the places that I remember from when I grew up in Queens. Today we're going to do a similar video. We're going to look a little bit at Staten Island, where Mary and I met and Jess was born, and then we're going to head over to Brooklyn, see a couple locations from Mary's past. We're heading over the Bayonne Bridge, coming from New Jersey. We were just at the Statue of Liberty. Welcome to New York. Our first exit's going to be Toad Hill Road. People always rag on Staten Island, but this is one of my favorite places that I've lived in so far. When you head up towards Toad Hill Road, this is the land of the Mafia. Very, very rich houses over here. And actually, the Mafia made the news recently when the leader of one of the families that lived in Toad Hill was murdered right in front of their house. The road is very curvy here. And these are some of the houses. This gives you an idea of scale of some of these houses. Going down Richmond Road. Things have changed a little bit since we've been here as well. Coming up on Staten Island University Hospital. This is where a young Jessica James was born. Many of the houses here you see that are still wrecked are a result of the Hurricane Sandy that came through. And the water, even coming up Seaview Avenue and all around down here by the beach, was up beyond the middle of these houses. Lots of houses that were destroyed and being built back up again. Across the way you can see the boardwalk for the beach in Staten Island. Not much of swimming or anything that I would ever do there, at least. But at least you could run or walk on the boardwalk. It's very nice. This barbecue place is new. It's a playground over here as well. Coming up on this block on the right side is where I moved. When I left Flushing, I moved over to Staten Island. I lived on Father Capodanno Boulevard. All of my belongings in an apartment that was about 500 square feet. Still studio, about 450 square feet or so. This was it, 1011 Father Capodanno. And if you look on the side, the stairs, that was the entranceway to my little studio apartment. I could always wake up and go right across the street, run on the boardwalk. There's basketball courts right down there. And this was the parking lot where the circus would come to town, or the fair, and you'd be able to just walk right across the street. This whole area was decimated by Sandy. You can see new boards on the outside of that house. These houses are for sale. There's videos on the internet of people that were basically in boats and wading up with water up to their chest level, all in this area. So we're taking a trip down Midland Avenue right now. Wow, look at this. This was destroyed also. Old motel. I didn't have a washing machine or dryer or anything, so I used to just have to take all of my laundry right over here to the laundromat. And it doesn't look like it's still there. So right at Midland, there was a pizza place that was located, I believe, right here. This was La Rocca's Pizza. La Rocca's Pizza is where Mary and I went on our first date. Get some pizza and some Italian ices. Yep. On the side of that house, you could see where things are kind of warped, where the watermark was. When everything flooded out here. This is South Beach, Staten Island. I don't remember cars being parked here when we lived here, but the statue was built when we lived here in the 90s. This is the place to be in Staten Island, the beginning of the boardwalk. You have a little restaurant up there. We're heading up Sand Lane. I lived up this way. This looks so different. A lot of this has changed a lot. None of these businesses were here when we lived here. This Amerikick was like a steakhouse. They had a strip club over here too. Over here on the left, where this red awning is, this was like a little amusement park. Yeah. They had a little haunted house ride in there that was there forever. This is the block we used to live on. Cedar Avenue. The Verrazano Bridge right in the background. You can see it from the front of the house. Oh, it's right. This is where we lived when Mary and I got together. And we had Jess in the upper left window. There's an air conditioner there too. Just the top left portion of this house is what we lived in. You know, people watch our videos now and we go to Disney all the time and do other things and everything like that, but I will tell you, I think our rent when we left here was somewhere north of $1,000 a month. And this is going back just about 20 years ago. This was essentially a one-bedroom apartment with the bedroom in the back, and this front room that we used as a bedroom was more like a living room. And there was a tiny room in the middle that was our living room, but it was designed, I believe, for like a dining room type area. The family that owned this house, I think their names were the Chows, and they moved here direct from China, so there was a language barrier, but we had some great times with them where we shared the front area of the house. We would barbecue and kind of share different traditions, different foods. And this house is where my best friend Dave moved to when they moved to Staten Island. This is the church where Mary and I were married, Holy Rosary, in Staten Island. It's also where young Jessica James was baptized. Speaking of Jess's middle name, when we did get her baptized at this church, the priest was adamant that she could not have the middle name James. He said it was a boy's name. It was ridiculous. It could not use that name for a baptismal name. And it basically it said it's either James or she doesn't get baptized. And priest ended up baptizing Jess. Small church inside, beautiful. And I'm not sure why this is happening, but this is the second location when we've been driving by that there's wild turkeys outside.
Hey.
Wild turkeys in Staten Island. What is happening? Heading on to the Verrazano Bridge. I think this is the largest suspension bridge in the country, although I'm probably going to be told that I'm wrong. And they only have the bottom level going today, so I can't show you the views from the top. We've come up on 86th Street in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. We're going to make a left from Fort Hamilton. This is where all of the shopping normally took place. Good pizza places over here. Pretty awesome record store way back in the day. Just going down 86th Street over here. Models. We can load up on Mets and Jet stuff. Oh, and then like everything else on the right has just turned into chain stuff. Century 21. Mr. Softy!
This is where I used to live.
Here's 86th and 4th. We're going to make a turn up here. Sometimes I used to take the local bus over here and then take the R train into work. 4th Avenue down this way, by 68th Street at least. Everything still kind of looks the same. We're going to turn right on 60th Street. This is the church that Mary grew up in. Not literally, but the church that she went to when she was growing up. OLPH, it's huge. Doing drive-by church over here. That's the grammar school that Mary went to, OLPH, 1st through 8th grade. We've made a left, and then we're going to make a right on 58th. This is the block Mary was born on. She wasn't born in a hospital.
No.
She was born in a house?
I was. When I was first 5 years old.
So ages 1 through 5.
Right.
This is the address, but they've destroyed the old house.
Oh yeah.
And rebuilt. Mary's running up the block to her original house, but just a few years later, she moved into this house, 638 58th Street. Big move. This was Mary's aunt's house, but they've destroyed all of these houses and just built doctor's offices.
Oh my God.
And for rent over here.
I'm not going to even take a picture of it.
The area all over here is all now predominantly Chinese, similar to Flushing. As you can see, migration started about 20-25 years ago. Oh my goodness, look at this. Zhang Wang Trading. So the first two houses?
First house I lived in when I was 1 to 5. Then I moved over here to this new house I'm coming up to from age 5 to 18. Then I moved at 18 up the same block to a different house. So I lived in 3 different houses on 2 blocks for my 20 years.
There's a place over here called Anal. Hold on.
So
this was Mary's old house, 722. We made a stop over at L&B Spumani Garden, home of some of the best pizza in New York. If you order outside or sit outside, large round cheese pie, 16 bucks Sicilian, square, 24 bucks, or slices, 3 bucks a piece. These are the square slices. I've known Mary half my life, I've never seen her get so rabid before. She asked for a corner square.
Because the corner is the best.
The guy gave us 2 in the middle, and Mary yelled at the guy. I've never seen her yell like that. Oh man, that was good. The dough is just perfect. The pizza was good. The square was better than the triangle or circle. But I have to tell you, unpopular opinion, pizza time in St. Augustine, Florida, much, much better than this. Hey everybody, we are in Flushing Meadow Park, home of the 1964 World's Fair. Check it out. Take a look in here. Texaco. I haven't been to Flushing Meadow Park in years.
I've never been.
Even years before we moved, I hadn't been here. When I was 14 or 15 years old, I had a job with one of my friends giving pony rides, where they had ponies and horses and cleaning stables. $20 a day, working illegally because I wasn't 16 years old and old enough, so I was getting ripped off blind. $20 a day from about 6 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. at night, giving pony rides. But this was the World's Fairground. This is where a lot of classic Disney rides made their debut here, including Carousel of Progress, It's a Small World, and you have the Queens Theater over here, and you come over here. This may look a little familiar to Universal Studios park goers, and also fans of the Men in Black franchise, so we know that this was their headquarters. You swing your view from here over to here. You have the famous Unisphere inside the museum back there, by the way. Really cool little model display where you can see the airplanes coming in and out of LaGuardia Airport and all of the surrounding areas in Flushing, Queens. A lot of people in the park today picnicking and barbecuing. It was pouring out for a while, and you see all these people with like makeshift little tents and everything to try to stay dry. And check it out. This is so awesome. You guys may remember this area from Iron Man 2, where all of this was repurposed for the Stark Expo, kind of playing on the World's Fair Expo. Or the Unisphere is a backdrop for the Beastie Boys.
No sleep till!
Here we are getting a little bit closer. They used to have fountains here that would shoot water up. You can still see the piping around the inside. And I think that's been defunct for a couple of years now. So the Unisphere was commissioned to celebrate the beginning of the space age and was conceived and constructed as the theme symbol for a 1964 World Fair. The Unisphere represents the theme of global interdependence. It's dedicated to man's achievements on a shrinking globe in an expanding universe. Now if we swing down underneath the Unisphere and zoom in behind the Unisphere, you can see the Arthur Ashe tennis stadium. That's where the US Open is held every year. Going back in the 80s, they used to have Queens Days here, which was amazing. It was a festival for everything in Queens. They had vendors, they had food. Most importantly, they had free concerts. We saw Meatloaf for free in the park here. We also saw Corey Hart in this park, when Sunglasses at Night was a big thing. Most importantly, I had a ridiculous interaction here because 92 K-Rock had just introduced and had Howard Stern on their roster. They did an in-person park appearance. I walked up to Howard and said, "Are you Howard Stern?" to get an autograph. He just looked at me and said, "No, go away."
That's really funny.
All right, we're gonna test Brooklyn Pizza against Queens Pizza. We're back in Flushing. Amore Pizza. Some of the best. All right, round 2, Amore. Square slice. Sicilian, lots of cheese. Regular slice, looks delicious. Very saucy. We're gonna have the reaction from Mary. What do you think? All right, so we had some Amore pizza. I will say I think the square was better at L&B.
Yeah.
But I do like it with more cheese. The slices were awesome.
Good.
The crust was really good too. It was good. All right, that's going to do it for our little tour around Staten Island and Brooklyn. Thanks a lot for coming along. Thank you very much for all of your likes and your comments and your subscriptions. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Have a great night. We'll see you guys.